This is absolutely Essendon. It's our latest edition of Hot or Not with our special guest still in tow. Hasn't managed to escape from the studio just yet. We've asked him to stick around. Felix, thank you.
Hello.
We appreciate it. Hope we're not taking any liberties. But the player in question is, you know what, I'll let DT, I'll let you perhaps
thanks.
Announce the...
Well, I was going to let our special guest announce it.
Oh, really? Okay, actually, because of the connection.
Yeah, I think we've gone with a South Australian player, which narrows it down to one.
How many?
We've got Draper is South Australian, and it's not him.
Yeah.
Although via Hull in England or wherever Draper's from. But who have we got today on Hot or Not?
We have Mason Redman, Samson himself.
Cue the applause.
Yes.
Samson is it's an interesting analogy that you make because he famously cut off his reddish, golden, gingery locks.
He did.
Was that for charity? Was it?
Yeah, he did. Well, Mason did.
Samson.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, Samson. Yeah.
Not the biblical figure, although Mason Redman might as well have been in the Bible because he's that bloody good. Tell us about his season so far, Felix.
Actually, before we
All right,
do
don't
that...
tell us about his season so far.
We follow a very tight script here, as you've gathered, Felix, okay?
Okay.
It's a well-handled
we do have
procedure.
a format.
But should we apply... Because some people have been saying, you know, they want a bit of background about these players.
Well, we could have given me some warning on that.
But should we talk about last year and the contract
negotiation? He came to the club via the national draft.
Right.
I think from memory he was a second-round pick, Mason Redman, and joined the club some years ago.
You would know Felix, actually.
So he was a junior in Adelaide. Well, not Adelaide. He played his football down in the fair town of Millicent, a fishing village down somewhere.
What sort of fish are they catching down there?
In the sand dunes, down where all the serial killers in Adelaide hang out. But,
right, okay.
You know what it's like over there. It's all Snowtown,
it's not the whole state of serial killers.
So anyway, that's the background on Mason Redman.
Right, okay. Geez, I'm glad I asked.
Shall we go through his stats very quickly because you know we're on time limit here.
Right.
So I'll just run through this extremely quickly if I can see from this far away. So, Mason is averaging 21.2 disposals a game, which is above average for the position he plays in the AFL. And that comprises 16.5 kicks, which also is above average. Only 4.7 handballs. You wouldn't expect a player like Redmond to be using the handball too often, given that he has got a very penetrating kick.
He doesn't mind it, though.
Marks is about 5.4. You know, he's not necessarily a contested marking beast, but does his bit. Tackles, below average, 1.5. I'm surprised that that's below average.
I was going to say, yeah.
1.5 per game. But importantly, nearly 470 metres gained as he flows off the half-back line and delivers the ball with aplomb into the forward 50. That is the summary. That's the snapshot of the great man himself. How's he been going this year?
Well, it's interesting because last year he was in the All-Australian squad of 40. Very hyped player. Obviously had that big contract negotiation. I feel like a lot of the attention on Redmond's been taken off since Martin's come in because he's winning so much of the ball, and I feel like people were almost wanting Martin to push higher up the field because it was taking away from Redmond in the early rounds. But we've seen the last few weeks especially, Dreamtime game was fantastic. He's come back to form. He's such a valuable player because he's not only great with ball in hand, he supplies that drive into the attacking half, but he's also just a solid defender, and that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, he's been really good in the last couple of weeks after a slowish start. But it's a very good point you raise about the impact of Nick Martin across that half-back line, because clearly he's been assigned the task as the sort of quarterback type role, although sometimes his kicking is a little bit of a worry. But it kind of has pushed Redden into the background, but they seem to be finding the balance now. But look, I think, for whatever it's worth, I think he's had his year's been down on last year for sure. He hasn't had quite the impact, and I'm interested to see how he will go in the second half of the season, because there's no question about it. You know, an up and firing Mason Redman is fantastic for our football team. So,
yes.
But he has shown some signs, at least in the last couple of weeks, that he is coming back to some of his best form.
I would
Agreed.
absolutely agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yep.
I think he's improving a lot every week. Can I just ask a question though? Last year, what percentage-wise, what was the chance of him leaving the club? Do you think?
0.
Because they wheeled in the big guns.
0.
They wheeled in Simon Madden.
What?
Like they did a big pitch to keep him.
I think it was the Crows that were chasing him, right?
It
Maybe?
was the Crows, yeah. yeah.
What did you think? Did you think he was ever a chance of going to
I was
Adelaide?
worried because he did play his footy in Glenelg.
Yeah, so there was some link there. It wasn't some random team.
Jeez, all right.
But why would you want to go to Adelaide?
Well, exactly.
We're
But
running with that again.
I think he even made the point that it wasn't like he wanted to return home because Millicent is actually sort of equidistant between Adelaide and Melbourne. So,
Right.
frankly, Melbourne is just as close to his home as Adelaide is. So, I think in the end, though, he could see where the Bombers were going, and I think was pretty impressed with the direction that Bradley Scott was taking with the team.
Yeah.
And I think his wife or girlfriend,
Girlfriend apparently had a big
Victorian
influence
girl
on the decision. Apparently,
And I think this one is going to be very interesting. There's been a lot of commentary around, certain people's inconsistencies or
certain.
type.
You mean yours?
Maybe. I don't think I've been inconsistent. I think I've been right on the money. But,
After you copped a little flack after the Ben Mackay. Did you catch that? I
that
don't know
was
if you did,
ridiculous.
catch that
People
episode.
saying Ben
There was-
Mackay was 8.5. I mean, come on, folks.
Yeah.
that
Well,
was- let's
you
just
know,
keep it real. If he's 8.5, then what, merits 14 out of 10? Seriously. All right.
No, well, someone actually suggested that we should do it. That the scale should be logarithmic, like the Richter scale.
And I like that, but
I
there's not a lot of brain cells out there, so let's just keep it simple, all right?
But I feel in many ways that's how you're voting.
Logarithmic.
Okay?
I mean, come on.
Just
Seriously.
So
I
Felix-
had to look that up. I didn't do well in maths, I've got to tell you.
We have a wide-ranging audience, and I love it.
So what does that mean? Like 8 is
Yes.
average, but 8.1 is incredible.
Yes.
No,
Exactly.
we're not doing that.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. We don't even have the capacity to do
Joe,
it. But anyway.
you
okay,
open
no. Felix, as our
No,
guest.
we're going to go
As our guest.
put the pressure on him.
Yes. all right.
I'm going to give him a 7 point. I'm just going to give him a 7. I was going to give him the 5, but
He almost got the point there.
he
You were
almost. Yeah, he was
borderline.
close.
You backed
yeah.
out at the last second,
yeah.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's right, because he's very intimidating over there with his scoring
don't know.
regime.
He's been good. He's been good,
So
especially these last few weeks.
7 is above average. That's above average.
Yeah, I think he's for the comp. He's above average.
Yep.
He's one of the better defenders. But based on his own last year, especially, I don't want to give him that 8.
No,
But feel
and
free
you
to-
don't want to hand
Yes.
out 8s willy-nilly,
No.
okay?
No willy-nilly.
Right, you and your like I don't know what you think you're handing out here, but 7.25 from me because it 7 just doesn't quite feel enough for me.
No, I get that, yeah.
Just need to give him something. DT.
Yeah, look, I think you're both right, more or less. Probably a little generous, but I, if you would ask me to vote in his last couple of weeks, he'd be a 7.5. But overall this season, I'm afraid I can only give him a 7. So, but I'm sure if we do wrap this up at the end of the year, he could well be 7.25 by then.
Gee, wow.
So I'm afraid 7. So
geez, he's just going to be
lift your game, Red Dog. Hey, I want to see these little things happening more often.
the red dog.
Yeah.
I've missed
Well,
those years.
he's got one of the most distinctive celebrations in the actual competition for a guy who barely scores a goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a
yeah.
waste. Can you give that,
That
to like
really
Peter
is.
Wright or Langford can use that one?
Yeah.
Because they actually score goals.
Yeah.
So,
well, Langford doesn't have any, and really
no, he
needs
does.
To,
He does. It's just that
What? Just that
nod.
smoking the.
It's just a nod.
right.
That's how it's done.
But you are right. From a brand development perspective,
Yeah.
Red Dog, he's
He's
got-
wasting
got-
a great celebration
he
on
really
a
is.
low return.
He needs to leverage that brand further.
He does.
I think.
He kicks some more goals, Mason.
All right. Well, thank you, Mason. We love having you around.
We
did
do.
we pass the 8-minute mark?
Oh, well, yes.
More.
Oh,
We've
God.
absolutely smashed it.
All right.
We smashed it.
All right. That'll do.
Just
Thanks
one more
again.
thing.
Oh.
Thanks for watching.
Oh.